And my realizations may inform your realizations. And in fact, they might even be the same. You might go, wow, that's something I need to realize. I need to be aware of that, right? So some things that I realized, first and foremost, and this actually goes back to right before I got cancer, so this is a good place to start. The realization was around my wife, Ursula. We had one of the biggest fights of our marriage right before she was going on vacation with my kids to go camping, and I was staying home because I had yet again another quote unquote, air quote, important work priority, right? Some sort of project was launching. I don't even remember what it was. Well, it just shows you. It's funny. I remember the family piece that I screwed up on royally, but I don't even remember what the hell the work piece was, right? If I had a book launching or something. So I said, Urs, I can't go on this camping trip. You and the kids need to go. And we got into a huge blowout fight right before she left. And when she left, I came across, she was gone. I came across an article called something along the lines of why you should choose her. It was something, well, I'll just sum it up. It was the idea that this guy realized that the woman he was with, and they weren't married yet. They have never got married. In fact, he lost her. She left him, and he realized afterwards that she was the one that got away, and he should have done this the right way. And that was a wake-up call for me, realizing I don't want to screw up my marriage the way he screwed up his relationship. And it was basically the idea that he realized he never fully chose his partner in the way that he always was focusing on what was wrong with her. And so when I say choose her, you could also, another way of putting that, and probably a more accurate way, is he never loved her for who she was. He never loved her unconditionally. He was always finding faults and flaws and nitpicking this and that. And at that point, he was always had one foot out the door because, they weren't married, and he was always he was looking for greener grass. And I think that we do that in a few different ways. If you're single and you're dating someone, then looking for greener grass means you're looking at the flaws in your partner and you're thinking, man, I could find somebody better than her, right? Someone that doesn't do this thing that annoys me. Someone that's more like me in this way, right? So that happens when you're single. Greener grass is thinking maybe I should ditch this gal and I should find somebody else. Now, when you're married, it could show up that way. You could be on the fence. Maybe I should divorce this woman and find somebody more like me that doesn't have the things about her that I don't like in my wife, right? But another way that greener grass shows up is that you might just be comparing her against the perfect version of the woman you have in mind, and maybe you don't have one foot out the door in terms of finding a replacement, but you have one foot out the door in terms of trying to change her. So you don't have both feet committed to her. You've got one foot committed to her, and you've got one foot out looking for trying to change her into the person that you want her to be. And that is not love. That is not commitment. At least that's not unconditional love. So I realized that I was doing that with my wife, Ursula, at the time, that I had one foot out the door, and I wasn't going to leave her. I mean, I'm sure that thought probably crossed my mind every once in a while in the heat of an argument or something, right? Like, I can't put up with this anymore, right? I mean, I think we all go through that at some level. But I definitely have the one foot out the door in terms of, man, if only she were a little more this and a little less this and did a little bit like this and was a little like that one girl I used to date. Man, she was great in the way that she was like me, right? I had one foot out the door. I wasn't fully in. And I read that article and I realized I need to choose my wife. And then I realized she can feel this from me. And my wife is a child of divorce. And so she has a deep-seated fear of, that I might leave her the way that her parents left each other, right? So that's a very deep-seated, because there was a lot of pain growing up from that. And what I realized was that by me having one foot out the door and always trying to change her, see, that's it. Listen, fellas, are you always trying to change your wife in some way? And are you always criticizing her? Are you saying you should do this differently? You should raise the kids differently. You should be different, on and on. And I realized that by me doing that, I was perpetuating one of her deepest fears, which was that I would leave her. And so I realized I need to choose her the way this guy was talking about in this article, in this blog post that he wrote that had been read by like 1 million people, right? Millions of people. And so I decided, I first wrote an affirmation, right? I put this into an affirmation so that I can read it every single day and reinforce I need to make Ursula feel that I am fully committed to her, that I love her exactly as she is, and if she never changes, I will not love her any less. In fact, I'm going to love her more from now on, and I owe her an apology that I have not loved her and chosen her fully. And so I wrote an affirmation, and I started reading it every single day while she was on vacation. And I sent her a few texts and left her a few voicemails letting her know, communicating that to her. And then I thought, you know what? I've been screwing her over by not choosing her and loving her unconditionally and wishing she were a little bit different for the last, how many years we were married at that point, 5 years or so. And I thought, that means I've been reinforcing her fear, as I said, for 5 years. Me sending her a text message and leaving her a voicemail, probably not going to undo the harm that I have unconsciously done, right?
Yeah. I
thought I've got to do a hell of a lot more than that. And so I took my affirmation and I went on to Shutterfly or Shutterstock, where you can make photos or coffee cups. What is it?
I think it's Shutterfly, isn't it?
I think it's Shutterfly. I think you're right. Shutterfly, Shutterfly. And by the way, everybody on this podcast, you should be using Shutterfly.com. And I'll give you one quick tip. This is a little bonus tip. You can go make placemats for your family. Each of my kids has a placemat that has their name in the middle of it, and it's surrounded by a collage of pictures of me and my wife and them, just really fun memories. And every single day when they sit down to dinner, they get to look at memories of our family, creating memories together. So just a little bonus tip. It was one of the greatest gifts that I've given them, and it's a cool gift, not only for your family, but actually just for your family's fine. I don't want you to realize I'm probably going to send one of the Vromans of pictures of them and their family for Christmas. I think that's a cool gift. But anyway, so bonus tip. But here's what I did. I went on to Shutterfly, and I chose, I think it was one of, if not the largest image that they had that I could write text into. It was an 11 by 14 image, and it was a beautiful white frame with a white background that was on the paper, it was framed by hearts. And I titled it My Forever Pledge, I believe. It was called Our Forever Pledge. It's in my bathroom. If I could carry my computer, I would go show it to you. It's on our wall. But it was Our Forever Pledge. And it was to Ursula, my wife for life, from Hal, your husband until the end. I'm getting emotional saying this. I don't know why. But anyway, and I basically took my affirmation and I reworded it so that it was about her. I said, Ursula, this is my commitment to you for the rest of our lives. There's nothing that you can do or not do to change that I will never leave you. And I basically thought through the lens of her fears and what I've done to perpetuate those. And I basically, I tried to imagine what would give her a sense of rock solid security and feel chosen by me and loved by me unconditionally. And I signed it. I actually created like a PDF, like I signed on my computer, and then I printed my signature on the document. And it was, the letters were each like a half an inch. It's a big, it was a large document, so it's a big thing. And I nailed a wall, I put a nail in the wall right next to her bedside, and I hung it at eye level so that every morning when she wakes up, that's the first thing she would see when she woke up, and the last thing before she went to bed. And I put it on her, I hung it there. And sorry, I'm getting emotional, but this was the start of the most extraordinary marriage that we now have. That was the turning point. That was the first thing. And here's the deal, fellas. I made a decision that I was committed. This is my second decision. John, I shared this at the Front Row Dads Retreat a few years ago. But I made a decision that my mission in life, in my personal life. I've got a professional mission, that's separate. But my mission in life, at least in my marriage, was to make her life amazing. And that's a real generic word, amazing. Well, but I had in my mind and in my affirmations, I had written what bullet points of what that meant. That meant for her to feel loved and cherished. And that's a word, by the way. Pay attention to the words your wives have used for years that you just fucking pardon my French, that you just dismiss. Or you fight like, I do that. I already do that. You're ungrateful, right? Like that's what we do. That's what I do, at least. My wife, I realize, has been telling me for years that she wants this. She wishes I would do more of this. And what I do in my brain is I automatically get defensive and I search for the areas that I already do that. I'm like, but I do that. If I do that for you, and I get upset. I can't believe you're complaining that I don't make you feel cherished when I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this. Damn it. If that's not enough to make you feel cherished, and I throw my hands up. I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what I can do. And then I changed that, and I went, wait a minute. Maybe I do those 4 things that in my mind are fulfilling on what she tells me she needs. But if she's not feeling fulfilled in that need, then I need to do something different. And I'd encourage you to ask yourself that. Consider that. What has your wife been telling you that you have been getting defensive about and justifying that you're already doing things that should make her feel that way that she's not feeling?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you need to do something different.
Yep.
And ideally ask her what that is. And if she says, I don't know, don't throw your hands up. Don't ever throw your damn hands up. That's the key to a shitty marriage. Got it?
Unless it's in victory. In
the front row symbol. Yeah. No, but be a man.
Yeah.
Be a man for your kids, for your husband, not your husband. Well, maybe your husband. I don't know. For your wife, right? Be a man and step up and figure it out and keep trying until she feels fulfilled. She feels cherished. She feels loved. She feels heard. She feels supported.
Yeah.
And so for me, I decided my mission is to make her life amazing. And that is do things every day that make her life easier. Do the dishes, watch the kids, let her go to bed early, let her take a bath while I make dinner, while I order dinner, while I do things that I don't have to do. I shouldn't have to do. I work all day. I provide for you. Great. You want to be a mediocre husband, have a mediocre marriage? Keep justifying mediocrity. And so, John, for me, I decided I'm going to make her life amazing. And here's the caveat, everybody. Listen to this. Really important. Despite how she responds. Very crucial.
Yep.
Because we're programmed in our behavior and in our response, and we have been for a long time. Her behavior is not going to change overnight just because yours does. And I acknowledge that, thankfully, on the front end. And here's a caveat to the caveat. I went, okay, I'm committed to making her life amazing every day in all the ways I just listed and more, regardless of how she responds. And then here's how I went even further. I said, so especially if she is rude to me, I will try even harder. Right? So if she responds not the way I want, and that's what we do. We make a little wimpy effort. And then she's not grateful or she's still upset or whatever. And then we throw our hands. We're like, yeah, see, I did exactly what you told me you wanted and you didn't give me the perfect response. So F you, I'm done with you, right? No. Fucking control your temper. Read a book on emotional intelligence, guys, and control your shit. And if she is a bitch to you, try harder and keep trying. And keep your unwavering commitment to make her life amazing. And it might take 3 months before she responds the way you want her to, because she needs to see that consistency from you over an extended period of time. That is your extraordinary effort. And I'll tell you, it took a while, right? She didn't respond right away. It took a few months, and gradually I'd start to see it. But she didn't, she wanted to. And I think often women test you. She's like, all right, yeah, you're giving a little effort. Let's see if you're really committed, right? They'll test you because they're afraid and they want to really see that you're committed no matter what. Unwavering commitment, unwavering, unconditional love. And so I meant to spend 5 minutes on that, but John, as you said.
I called it, man.
Yeah, there you go. But I feel like, I mean, you know, obviously you feel the passion from me because I feel so convicted in how important this is for you. And this is the springboard to the most extraordinary marriage that you can have. And here's the thing. For you to be the best dad, it starts with being the best husband. It absolutely starts with you getting your marriage right. Because if you work on the kids and you don't work on the marriage first and make it your number one priority, you'll be a kick-ass divorced dad. You follow? You'll be a kick-ass dad who is divorced because, yeah, you put your energy into the kids, but you didn't put the energy into your number one relationship. And as you've heard this before, the kids are going to grow up real fast. They're going to move out, and then you're going to be staring across the dinner table from that woman that you've either invested in making your best friend and the woman of your dreams and become the man of her dreams, because that's going to be the rest of your life. The kids thing, that's a short window.